In this demonstration, we'll walk through an example use case of how Jama supports requirement and specification management in the context of microchip and SoC designs. Jama is the centralized requirements repository, the hub of the development effort across multiple teams, and here we've set up the project to capture the contents of the market requirements down to the technical details of each of the individual subsections and projects. One thing that makes Jama a very good fit for semiconductor design is our ability to handle reuse within the idea of requirements and specifications. In this case, you can see with the system partitioning that we've done, we've built it down to each of these different sub-areas. Typically, within an SoC design, each of these would be a different core or a different block. Jama's reuse functionality makes it easy to see the differences between individual requirements. If we want to sync changes back to the original item, we have that option. Alternately, we can look across the product as a whole. Changes can then once again be manually synced between the original and the new project as needed. Jama's collaboration functionality shows what's important when. I can look at the conversations happening around an individual item and answer when I'm called in to close a call to action or weigh in on a change or make a decision. Here, I can see an open issue from Becky, one of our market researchers. I can quickly jump into a conversation, make an edit, and then notify everyone that the change has been made. If they have a question about why something was changed, the versioning information directs them to the right person to talk to and shows them the change that was made. At the macro level, you can then start to take baselines representing a snapshot of either the entire project or a particular component, which in turn allows you to compare or run reports giving your insight into what has changed over time. This gives you a great amount of capability to control the change management process in complex SoC design. What appears to be a quick change can have impact downstream. Now that we've made the change requested by one of our subject matter experts, we need to understand the rippling impact across the rest of the product line. Per the company's internal processes, the following relationship rules need to be fulfilled. Because we're looking at a solution requirement, we know that can have multiple other downstream and upstream items tied to it, including block requirements, system architecture, and verification cases. Any one of these might need to be updated based on the change we've made to our system requirement. Because of that change, Jama flags the existing downstream items that need to be at a minimum assessed for potential change as suspect. As the analysis is completed, the suspect flags can be cleared. Once analysis is complete, the changes are sent to the change control board for approval using the review center before implementation begins. This concept of relationships gets much more powerful when we start to look at the traceability of a design. Jama's Coverage Explorer allows us to easily see how information is tied together across our project and identify and determine gaps quickly where more traceability is required for a compliance requirement. Status from other tools, Jira as an example, flow back so developers can work in their tool of choice but keep you updated. Coverage Explorer helps you understand the full scope of the project so you can effectively communicate expectations to key stakeholders. One of the problem areas with requirements and specifications is getting closure around approvals. Jama has powerful capabilities for reviewers in the form of Review Center. As the moderator, I'll first set a review deadline. Setting this time box communicates the expectation around feedback and will help me when I'm trying to whittle that 4-hour requirements meeting I usually have down to an hour. I designate people to be part of the review, whether they're approvers, meaning I'll get their signature, or reviewers who I think of as my subject matter experts. We've sent a set of market requirements off to Review Center for approval. Once feedback starts to pour in from my various stakeholders, it's easy to see where different requirements have been approved or disapproved, and the comments of proposed changes on which I need to act. Instead of jumping between documents and red lines, all stakeholders and feedback are in one place, easy to access and act upon. With the Review Center, you can remove the overhead of requirements reviews and shorten the time between milestones. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please visit us at jamasoftware.com to find out more on how Jama can improve your product delivery process.